I'm curious about whatever you have in mind when you make the statement of sometimes the decisions out of the ego is actually a good one.
Yeah, I've seen how a lot of founders, especially like those visionary founders, when they're trying to do something that defies rationality, they sometimes do things that feels and looks delusional from the outside. And I think there's such a fine line between delusion and persistence, right? Because when you look at that long 20-year chart of Amazon's revenue over time, you're looking at that chart for the first 18 years and you're wondering, how can this guy continue persisting through this and keep at it, right? That's a very delusional thing to do. And I don't know whether what they had in mind was that it was going to eventually go up into this crazy hockey stick growth. But I think like a lot of that persistence is ego driven. You just don't want to give up because giving up means you have lost. I think the rational thing to do a lot of the time is to look at the data over the past 18 years and realize that you are not growing. So I think ego does drive people to do some incredible things sometimes.
Do you feel like the line then between the delusion and the persistence is almost like in hindsight of whether something worked out or not?
Definitely. I think there's definitely so much of that. I remember going to this talk by one of the founders of Instagram, and they were talking about how they launched this app, this like whiskey photo sharing app, and then 2 weeks later, there were 100,000 users. It's like, cool. And then they did it more, and 2 weeks later, there were 1 million users. I'm not sure if that was like the reality of the mindset in their minds. There's so many like revisionist stories. I'm not sure if that was revisionist. That may have been the case. But I think there's a lot of people that look at the history of things and they're like, this was such an obvious, straightforward thing. I had this in mind all along. But in reality, I don't think that most people have that mindset when they're in the moment.